Hello. Hi, my name is Olivia, and tonight I want to speak about faith. What is faith? When you hear about it, when you talk about it, when you think about it, how do you understand faith? Is it something that you know, or something that you've been told, something that you've thought about? And do you think that you have enough of it? You see, faith is a deeply personal, deeply intimate, deeply spiritual relationship we have with God. Faith isn't something that you go and get by going to church 7 days a week, by praying 2 hours a day, by reading your Bible until you can know and memorize the scriptures by heart. Faith is not external. It cannot be given. It has to be acquired. It has to be searched for. Faith is a quest that we go on every single day. It's not a test. It's not an examination. It's not God testing you to find out how much you trust Him. Faith is literally a bridge. It's a bridge that you build through belief, trust, hope, obedience. For years, when you've prayed for something and it never happened, you would hear, you got to have more faith. You don't pray enough. But what does it mean? What does it mean? Have you thought about what faith means? Because it says without faith, it's impossible to please God. And we don't please God with the outward things that we do. We don't please God with the amount of tithing that we give, the many days we go to church, how often we read the Bible, and how well we can quote it. Pleasing God is much more personal. You know how you please God? Do you want to know? You please God by living your life through happiness, contentment, with peace. You live your life by doing what is right in the eyes of God. And let me just stop there for a minute. What is right in the eyes of God? How do you even know whether you are doing the right thing? Because we all have different opinions of people and things and events and behavior. What is acceptable to me might be completely unacceptable to you. And yet, we go to church and we say we are pleasing God. What does it mean to please God? It is to live your life well. To live it with all its fullness, all its power, all its glory. It's not a measurement that you can have a little tick box and say, well, I've done my duty, I've gone to church, I've read my Bible, I've prayed today, I did a few good deeds, I've tithed, right? That's the tick box. That makes us good people. But is that pleasing to God? Or are you pleasing a human being? Who are you actually pleasing when you do those things? So how do you measure what is good in the eyes of the Lord? You see, the problem that I have with religion is there are so many rituals. There are so many do's and don'ts that in the end you feel stuck because you can't breathe. You don't know what to do anymore because you are trying to live your life dictated by religion. How is it feeding you spiritually? How is it feeding your heart, your soul? Do you feel connected, calm, stable, alive, at peace, content? Does your heart smile when you do the things that you think it's pleasing to God? If you want to please God, that's a conversation between you and Him. Not you and another human being. He knows your heart. He knows your soul. He knows your dreams, all your desires. He knows every part of you intimately because He has created you. He has given you everything to be happy on this earth. And one of the ways to please God is to be happy. Is to be happy. Paul says in his word, he says, I think it's Philippians, he says, rejoice in the Lord. I repeat, rejoice in the Lord. How do you rejoice in the Lord? And why must you rejoice? You must rejoice in the Lord. And if you can rejoice in Him, you are pleasing Him. These lips of mine, these lips, can say the most wonderful things to you. I can say the most heartwarming words that, it warms your spirit and your soul and your heart. But what do I feel in my heart? What do I really feel? Do you know? What do I really think? And are my thoughts pleasing to God? Remember I asked, what can you do to please God? For you to please God, you need to know who you are. Because once you know who you are, you will not be swayed by anything that's not in agreement with what you believe in. If you believe in hope and faith and trust, love, kindness, compassion, if that is the foundation of your life, you are pleasing God. And once you know how to please God, you would know what His standards are, what your standards are. Once you understand who you are and who you were meant to be, then you will begin to live a life that pleases God. You know how you discover who God is? Remember, He says in the Word, I think it's in Kings, He says, I heard a big, first it was an earthquake, then it was a fire. But God was in none of those things. He said, then I heard a quiet, still voice. God speaks with authority, but He speaks with quietness, with calmness. If you are living in fear, you're not pleasing God. If you are ridden, filled with doubt, you're not pleasing God. If you put your faith in another human being, you are not pleasing God. If you trust in your abilities and your skills, you are not pleasing God. So how do you trust, and what does it mean to please Him? The first thing you need to understand, there is no judgment with God. And that is where free will comes in. Because free will is not the attitude of I can do as I please and no one tells me anything. That is the abuse of free will. Free will is to understand and to know that you have the power to choose. Do you understand what a great power that is? And what does that mean? The power to choose what? To choose fear over faith. To choose wealth over poverty. Prosperity over failure. Abundance over lack. Happiness over sadness. Love over hate. How do you choose? Because that is at the heart of free will. How do you choose? It comes back with that intimate relationship you have with God. And the relationship is based on the thoughts that you have. I can think every day, I can wake up and I say, I have $1 million. I make $1 million. Do I believe it? Do I think God, do I trust God to do that? No. No. Because faith and choosing. Because when you choose faith every time, and this takes practice, it takes understanding, it takes knowing who you are and knowing what God is capable of.